I bet somebody ain't come in here and screamed in 30 years, but they used to. They used to.
Okay. Dale Earnhardt Jr., driving the number 88 National Guard Chevrolet. What's it feel like to win the Daytona 500?
Man, it feels incredible. I was lucky enough to win this race in 2004, and it's the greatest feeling you can have as a driver in NASCAR on a single event, single day. And just trying to explain what that feeling is to people. I've been trying to tell people for 10 years what that felt like, and it's just hard to put it into words what winning this race really means to you. And as an individual, I felt lucky back then because I was with a lot of family and working with Tony Sr. and Tony Jr. And that was a great team. Had my uncle Danny on it. A lot of the guys that worked with my dad for years on this nationwide team in the 90s and even in the 80s. But it just what makes this special is the people you're with when it happens. I have a great relationship with my crew chief, Steve. He's put an amazing team around me that we all really enjoy working together. And Rick's here to make all that possible. It just seems like it's too good to be true, really. We ended last season on such a strong note. And in the garage area at Homestead after the race, we were standing there tearing apart race cars and talking about how great the season was. And a lot of these guys, like Jason Burdett, he's been in this sport for a very long time. He's my car chief. Said that was the most fun he's had in a season in the sport ever. And that was the biggest compliment that anybody's ever. I took it as a compliment for me personally, but I knew he meant he was really enjoying himself. But that just really summed it up to me that this group's unique and special, and that's what makes winning this race that much more special. Obviously, it's the biggest race and the most important race that we run, but the people you do it with really is the icing on the cake. And we all really are best friends and enjoy working with each other. We pull for each other. And lucky enough to have Amy with me, and my sister Kelly and LW, and my staff, Mike Hogue, Laura, that helps with HMS, all those people. We grind every week throughout the season. So it just, when you got great people around you, it just makes that whole experience so much more and so much more special.
And Dale, I'd be remiss not to also ask you, as you mentioned earlier, with this win, what do you think about the chase?
Yeah, we don't have to think about it. We don't have to think about it. That's if everybody is telling the truth, and we've won a race and we should be in it. So I'm not going to worry about it. Now, if I got to win two of these things, I don't know if we're that worried, but because we're going for the juggler this year. This is a good analogy for Steve. I've been using with him.
Am I on the go-kart?
Yeah. Well, when you're a kid, and especially when you grew up around racing, me and all my buddies would go to the pay-to-ride go-kart ride wherever we were at, whatever racetrack. And every track, Talladega, and all them places had them. We'd get $100 from Daddy and go ride go-karts until the wheels fell off, until we ran out of money. And on that last ride, you let it all hang out, and you didn't care if you get kicked off. If you didn't get kicked off, something was wrong on the last ride. So this is Steve's last ride. So he's going to let the rough side drag all year, and he's got a little racing left in him, and I think he's going to try to get it all out. And so that's good for me. And I'm fortunate to be on the ride with him, and this is his first Daytona 500 victory. So I was glad to be a part of that and to be part of the team that helped deliver that for him. So but yeah, making the chase is important. I didn't anticipate having to put that to bed so quickly, but we'll go ahead and concentrate on winning more races. Because, like I said, at the end of last year, we felt like we were right on the cusp of doing just that, winning races. And we're turning the corner right at the right time. I got one last year with this guy, and we're gonna make it something special.
Steve Letarte, just talk about the significance of tonight's win.
Man, I don't know if I even know it quite yet. It's Daytona. It's a place you've been coming. I've been coming my whole life, 20 years in the sport. And I remember even before that coming as a little kid with my dad and watching him run around here. And, it's just it's like when we sat in the driver's meeting today, when they announced the guys that were in the Hall of Fame and all the great drivers there, they don't say how many times they won Martinsville or Bristol or Charlotte. This is a 5-time Sprint Cup champion and a 3-time Daytona 500 champion. And, any race that they decide when you win it, you're the champion of the event and not the winner of the event. It kind of sets it apart. And that's really what this is all about, is to come down here. You come down here, I think everyone in this room could be a resident of Florida as much as we spent in Daytona over the years. And you spend so much time all winter long working on cars, and everybody brings their best stuff. And these races are hard to win. And we've been very fortunate to run second the last 2 years, and I've seen them put our car in positions that it really shouldn't be in at the end of these races. He somehow makes something happen. And he said it best earlier in the victory lane. For the last 2 years, we've been that car in third, fourth, or fifth, trying to figure out how we were going to beat the leader. And coming here today, we decided that if someone was going to win it, they were going to have to pass us. We wanted to be the leader at the end, and that strategy worked. And it only worked because he held it. We had a pit stop there with more than 50 to go, so he held them off for a long time, and we got help from our teammates. And it's the whole thing's kind of surreal. I don't think I'm quite eloquent enough in my words, I guess, to describe it all. It'll probably sink in. Well, maybe never. We'll see. It's a big day.
And Rick, congratulations. Certainly you've won many big races and won this one several times. But just talk about the significance of this win by the number 88 team.
Well, I think I like to listen to these two guys talk, but this is really special. I mean, after last year with Dale and Stevie running so good and 5 second-place finishes, the new format this year and locking in the chase. I saw him put the sticker on the car, and to win the Super Bowl here, he drove his butt off tonight. I mean, he made some phenomenal moves, and Stevie called a great race. TJ did a heck of a job spotting. I mean, it was flawless all night. And but this race is so big, and it is our Super Bowl, so it'll carry us. This team, I'm excited to watch them. Just now, you're in the chase. Just go race hard and have fun. And I think it makes a statement how good they were last year and carrying it forward this year.
Questions now from the floor. If you have one, raise your hand. Jim Peltz.
Dale, Jim Peltz of the LA Times. It seemed like no matter who was behind you, who was pushing you, or who you were trying to block, that you didn't have any trouble sort of maintaining your lead. I mean, was there anybody who gave you a particular problem tonight?
Biffle was rather, competitive, and he was the guy I saw quite often. My teammate Jimmy knows what to do when he gets up there, and he's my teammate. So when he is leading the race and I'm running second, it's in that particular moment, it's in my best interest to protect both of us. So that presents a unique challenge. We just had such a great race car. I'll tell you, and you guys know this place. You got to have a lot of car. The guy that wins this race has to make some smart moves and do some things either by luck or by on a whim or experience or what have you. But the car really does the majority of the work, and just the car has to be excellent and above par. And so my car tonight, I knew it was something special. I didn't know it was as good as it was tonight, but in practice and a couple times throughout the weekend, I noticed that it was something unique. And when we got the opportunities to sort of work our way into the lead and hold it, and I was able to fight guys off, like you were saying, and able to hold the lead and keep moving from line to line. And I learned a little bit about what I needed to do to really kind of hold the position. The outside line work best on the straightaways. When they're all side by side behind you, the outside line gets to run on the straightaway, and the inside line gets to run on the corner, and you just get in front of each line, depending on where you at on the racetrack, and just keep watching guys, watching how they're tight together, and whether they're pushing each other, and you can sort of anticipate a run coming, and you just sort of jump in front of it, and they shove you away. But the car has to be something special. Not every, typically if the car isn't anything special, you get diced around, and guys can make a fool of you and send you on back into, outside the top five kind of easily. But our car was able to battle and fend off guys left and right, it seemed at times.
Let's go in the back. Bob Pockris, George Diaz. Bob Pockris first, and then George Diaz.
Bob Pockris, Sporting News. Dale, you were talking to Steve on the radio before those final laps, just kind of about how nervous and how you couldn't really enjoy it at all. I'm curious, did you have that same have you had that same feeling when you've fallen short, or was there something about tonight that made it any different?
No, you always have that feeling when you're sitting in position, when you're close enough to the front to win races. There's a lot on the line. It's a big race, and you want to win it so badly, and your team wants to win it so badly. You realize at that moment, especially inside of 20 laps to go, and you're in the top five, you realize at that moment that there's countless people watching on television. There's countless people sitting in the grandstands with your shirts and hats on, and your team over on the pit wall, your crew chief, your family back home watching. There's so many people pulling for you that want to see you win. It's a heavy weight. and it's just, you get so caught up in trying to do what you can to make that happen. And when you finish second or you fall short, it's really disappointing. You're proud of that effort inside somewhere, but outwardly you're disappointed because winning's all that matters when it comes to Daytona. They won't really remember you for running second a lot. So it just and it's such a great feeling. It's such a great feeling that you want to do it again. And I know that I'm grateful to have won it twice now. I was grateful to have won it once, but in about 6 months I'll be as urgent to try to do it a third time as I was after the first.
Let's go to George Diaz, and then we're going to go to the press box. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dale, George Diaz with the Ohio Sentinel. And for Steve, too. Was that tape deal, was that much ado about nothing, or was that a concern as you were coming down the final laps?
I had no thought about it. He said that the grill was half covered. We had 2 laps to go. We were cycling the engine, trying to save fuel, so that was bringing the temperature down quite a bit. And so I knew that the motor was going to be fine. And if anything, it would help us. Anytime you add tape to the grill, you speed the car up. So if anything, it was going to help my car. They could have taped it solid for all I care. Those last 2 laps, it would have been fine. I don't know how Steve feels about it.
No, I mean, I think he's right. Basically, once we saw the white, we knew that wouldn't be an issue. But he's right. We knew at most we were going to run 2 laps at a time for maybe a couple times. So we figured we could maintain, good enough temperatures to do it. But we got lucky. It kind of closed half the grill off. So like he said, I think it was the perfect adjustment. So we'll take it.
Yeah, it was like fate.
Let's go to the press box. Go ahead.
Viv Bernstein from the New York Times for Rick. Obviously, this means a huge deal for your team, but can you step back and maybe talk about what it means for NASCAR to have Dale Jr. in this position this early, and just the bigger picture for the season?
Well, I think you see the fans' reaction, and we were in prime time. It's going to be exciting to see what the ratings were tonight. But Dale's got a bunch of loyal fans, and it's good for the sport. It was good TV. It was a great race, and it doesn't hurt to have him, the most popular driver, win the biggest race in the Super Bowl of our sport. So I think it'll be good for NASCAR. It's good for all of us. It's definitely good for our organization, and it takes a little heat off of me with his fans. so I'm really happy with that.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, Stevie and I know about that.
Stay upstairs. Go ahead, press box.
Jeff Owens, Sporting News. I had a similar question, Dale. A lot of drivers have already been asked about that tonight, about what this means for the sport. Do you have a sense of that, and what is your feeling about people talking about how big this is for the sport, and how much of a weight does that sort of put on you, and the relief you feel tonight?
It's not a weight when you're able to deliver. It's a weight when you're not able to deliver. When people say that you're the face of the sport and you're running fifth or 10th every week, it's very challenging. But because you want to deliver and you're not delivering, so this is this brings me a lot of joy, and I look forward to going and doing all the media all week long and representing the sport. And I don't know that I realize, how big a deal it is, but I know I got a lot of fans that are really happy and, really enjoyed what we did tonight and can't wait to go to work tomorrow to brag all their buddies around the water cooler. So Monday's going to be a fun day for a lot of people in Junior Nation.
Dale, I think you got a former Daytona 500 winner here wants to congratulate you.
Yes, sir. Congratulations.
Thanks, DJ. Appreciate it.
Congratulations. Sorry to interrupt. This old guy's got to go to bed.
That's right. Thanks, Dale. Okay, I think we have one more in the press box, then we'll come back downstairs. Go ahead.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Congratulations, June. You got the Meyer brothers breakfast moved to a lunch. Can you do that with the champions breakfast too?
I don't know. I won't complain too much if tomorrow, but I might be a little slow, but I'll be there nonetheless. Now, I'm looking forward to the entire week. You just don't get to do this every week, so I'm going to really embrace this whole experience, and I won't be home for a while, but it'll be well worth it, and I think I'll have some fun even throughout the process.
Did you really think it would take 10 years to get back to this particular victory lane? I mean, you are so masterful when it comes to restrictor plate racing, and we always expect you to be one of the contenders. Did you think it would take this long?
Yeah, I did, because the competition has changed so much. I was talking earlier about how when we was winning all those plate races years ago at DEI, there was a bigger tolerance between the field, and our cars were just so superior compared to most people. About the only organization that could run with us was Rick's, and otherwise, it was, we were just out there running by ourselves, and the competition, the way the rules are, and the way NASCAR has transformed over the years. There's no room, between the competition. There's just no tolerance. Everybody's basically got the same car out there, and it just comes down to who can make the right moves. Granted, our car was definitely extremely unique tonight and special. One of the best cars that I think Steve's ever put on a plate track in his career. But I knew it was going to be challenging. And as soon as I sat down in the driver's meeting today and looked around in that meeting and just seeing all the talent in that room, I knew it was going to be a difficult day for anybody to win this race. And it's only going to get tougher as sports just growing tremendously and getting so much more competitive every year.
Let's come downstairs now. We're going to take Tom Jensen, Jay Busby, Mike Hembry. Tom Jensen, Jay Busby, Mike Hembry.
Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. Congratulations, guys. Stevie, from a practical standpoint, now that you're locked in the chase, what does this allow you to do maybe differently that you wouldn't be if you had to be fighting for a spot?
Oh, I think without a doubt, all the crew chiefs on pit road understand the risk versus reward, and there's a line there, and it's it's hard to explain. It's like a return on investment. There's a number there that everybody knows how many positions you're willing to give up versus how much of a chance you really have to win. And I think that opens our window tremendously. I think now, it's easy to say you can run 20th and go for a win, where if you're racing for the points, you can't afford to give up 20 points. So when they come out with this point system, we talked about it a lot, especially at media day, and I don't think it changes much before you win. Like, I don't think anybody can take any bigger chances than we already take to try to win. But I think once you have won, it gives you an opportunity to really take borderline ridiculous chances. I mean, it really does. It allows you to really, if there is a slim chance, that's really all the chance you need. And we've been very fortunate to have good runs, and there's been a lot of seconds and a lot of close calls, run out of gas at 600, and a lot of stuff over the years that I think those opportunities are going to come around more often now.
Thank you. Let's go to Jay Busby, then to Mike Embry, and then to David Caravello.
Jay Busby, Yahoo Sports. Dale, do you think that you could have won this race 3 to 4 years ago, given what you were facing, tonight in terms of the talent that was running up behind you?
I tried. We just, it just takes. I'll be honest. There's something about the car that you sort of connect with the car. That car that I drove tonight, we got along, and we worked as a unit. It just happens, and it's hard to explain with this guy sitting next to me. But the cars that we've had in the past, I drove them all week down here at Speed Weeks, and I just didn't have that 100% confidence in either the car or myself or us as a unit to be able to drive it with the confidence that you need to win. And that car tonight, man, it was just doing so many great things, and I could depend on it. And when I would ask it and put it in certain situations and expect it to do what I wanted it to do, it did it. And because the cars are everything at Daytona and Talladega. So, I think I do a good job of drafting and understanding the draft and knowing what to do, when to do it. But you can't without the right car. And the difference between the right car and what I've been driving is this much. I mean, that's how close it is out there. And you know it when you got that much more. It's a obvious gut feeling you feel from the seat of your pants. And that car was just ready to go, man. And it was just asking for everything that I was giving it. And people just, I felt like I was just out there just beating them off one at a time, man. It was awesome. So just an amazing car.
Sorry, did you lose it for a year then?
Sir? No, it's proud. I put one in there before, man, and it's a good feeling that it sits down here and the fans come and take pictures of it. I sign autographs of that thing. I'll sign autographs of that thing sitting over there all year long, and it'll give you memories will come back to you from tonight, and it's a great thing.
Go Mike Embry, David Caravello, and Jenna Fryer.
Mike Embry, USA Today. Dale, do you expect Mooresville to burn to the ground tonight?
Yeah, as soon as I said that, I was like, that was probably not the perfect choice of words, but I was exploding inside. So, as soon as my mouth opened, everything just came on out. But, we, that's how you feel. That's the emotion that you feel when something like that happens to you. Imagine in your profession, the greatest thing that could happen to you. And, that's what happened to me tonight. So I was able to I just couldn't contain myself.
You talked about the car earlier. Did you know before the delay that the car was going to be that good? And how tough was it to wait for the 10 hours or whatever we waited to get back in it and do that?
Made it easier, actually, to wait, knowing that we had such a good race car. Typically, when you and the car aren't on the same page, and it's like I said, it's just that little bit. You grow concerned about what do you need to do, and the to win the race, the slope got steeper, and gets steeper with every lap. And tonight, as we drove and even as we waited it out, I just knew we had enough race car, and then the onus was on I was a little bit nervous because the pressure was on me because there was plenty of car to do it.
Go to David Caravello, Jenna Fryer, and then Jim Utter.
David Caravello, NASCAR.com. Dale, it was not lost on Austin Dillon tonight that you won the first race. His car number was in. And I wonder, is there anything poetic or special about that confluence given the relationship between the two of you?
Yeah, I thought about holding up the three fingers as I was driving down the front straightaway, but I didn't want to really bring too much attention to all that, or I just want Steve and Rick and the team and everybody to enjoy this experience as it should. But it felt so comfortable all week for that number to be back, and I'm happy with that situation. I'm happy for Austin. He's you guys have gotten to know him over the last couple of years. He's got a great head on his shoulders. He appreciates the history of the number. He appreciates not only what it meant as an Earnhardt fan, but what it meant for his family. It means something entirely unique to him, separate of my father. So I appreciate that, and I'm happy for him and Richard. They're really enjoying that experience together. That's got to be something special. Have grandfather and grandson to be able to do that together. So I'm very comfortable. I had not thought about it once all week because it just seems right.
Let's go to Jenna, Jim Utter, and then Dustin Long.
Jennifer, AP, I've got one for Dale and one for Rick. Dale, you said when you crossed the finish line, this one's better than the first. But then you said in Victory Lane, this one's not better than the first. So which one is it?
Yeah, I think I was thinking about that. When I crossed the finish line, I was relieved that I've done it again and that I've done it with the people I'm with. So initially, the reaction was, this is better because I'm back, in Victory Lane. But it's different because it's the people, and I was talking about that earlier, but it's better because you had a taste of it, before. To win it the first time, you are blown away and sort of overwhelmed, and the experience is a blur, and you really don't. It doesn't sink in. You don't absorb much of the whole thing. I can't even remember half of it, even after the fact. What we did that week, I don't even remember going over and putting the car in there. But it was just all so much of a flash. And so now I realize that, and I'm surrounded by so many great people. We got a great team. Everybody's, so many people were able to enjoy this, and I'm reminded to let it sink in, reminded to enjoy it. I mean, I really enjoyed driving down in front of the fans there. I was having the time of my life inside that car going down the front straightaway. And when I got to Victory Lane, I couldn't wait to hug everybody and just let it enjoy it. Didn't do that the first time because it was just you're blown away. So this one's funner.
And Rick, I imagine fielding cars for NASCAR's most popular driver is a tremendous responsibility, and it must feel frustrating that you don't have more success and that you always give all your best stuff to Jimmy and always let Jimmy win all the time, according to the fans.
I'm glad I'm sitting here. I want to hear this.
I mean, I don't say it, the fans do.
They've never said it to me.
Yeah, because you're not.
You're the only one that said it.
Well, you're not on Twitter, but Dale's going to get on Twitter because he told Michael Waltrip if he wins the Daytona 500, he's going to get on Twitter.
Pay attention. Might be tweeting here in a minute.
Yeah.
I gotta get my password.
So I'm wondering if you feel any relief or satisfaction in getting this win with him, and if you can talk a little bit about the burden that you do feel in needing to have success with Dale Jr.
Yeah, I think Dale had a lot of options when he was going to make a change. And we talked, and he wanted to come with us, and I wanted him to come with us. And there was a lot of pressure, an awful lot of pressure, a lot of high expectations, and we didn't have the success that we thought we'd have. I remember a lot of you said, hey, he'll win 6 races and he'll win a championship, and we came down here and we won the shootout and the qualifier right out of the gate, and then we didn't go where we needed to go, but we never gave up, and I was as determined as ever, and I told him that we would get it right and we would do what we set out to do, and we were not going to stop. But it's a lot of pressure. It was an awful lot of pressure, and I felt like I let him down. He felt like he let me down, but we locked arms and said we're going to figure it out. And last year was a great year, and I wish the success had come earlier. But this is a tough sport. I mean, it is a tough sport, and there's so much talent out there, and just like he said, it's that little magic with the car. It's that magic with the guys here and the team, and it's when you hit it, it's amazing. And when Jimmy Johnson goes 2 years and doesn't win a championship, something's wrong. Well, there's nothing wrong. It's just everybody else is that good, and they've got that magic, and these guys have that magic, and I think this could be the year.
Let's go to Jim Utter, and I believe we were going to Dustin Long and then Brant James.
Jim Utter, Charlotte Observer, one for Dale and one for Steve. Dale, Brad Keselowski was in here earlier, and he said he thought that this may have been one of the hardest run Daytona 500s from start to finish. Yeah. You've obviously been in a lot more than he has. I just wondered if you felt something similar, and if so, was it what might have been attributed to? Was it just being the Daytona 500? Was it points don't matter, or maybe just sitting around for 6.5 hours?
Yeah, I think it was the package and the way you were having to race to stand your ground. And I hated to drive. So I hated to do some of the things I had to do tonight to race. But that's we had to. There was a couple laps where I had to run Jeff Gordon right on the fence around the racetrack and turn in the turns down the straightaway. I mean, right in his door to keep him from drafting by me. And I hate to do that to my teammate. You hate to do that to anybody, but that's what it took, and that's what you had to do. And I knew, like we had talked about before, I talked with Steve about how we were not in the right place at the end of these other races, and we'd make a move and finish second, and knew we didn't have a shot at winning, knew we didn't have a shot at the leader at the end. Why and what do we need to do? And so tonight it was just all about not giving an inch, not running fifth, and not being okay to run, not sitting in fifth place all night and being okay with it. Wanting to lead every lap, wanting to be in first every lap. That was what my motive was, and it was a unique race. I feel uncomfortable sitting here bragging that I drove my ass off or run the best race of my life, but it was a unique race, and we all were really pushing the envelope out there and really asking a lot of each other. I remember running real tight on the door of the 16 car for the lead, and he had the 20 behind him. And I just kept thinking all it's going to take is for Matt to make one move a little wide into the corner or something like that and catch my quarter panel and turn me into the 16, and we're going to be up in the wall. And every lap you're asking that of every drive. You're asking every driver around you to be able to hold their line and run, be smart and see what's happening and understand how close the quarters were, because everybody was just shoving all over each other and just climbing all over top of each other. So you were asking a lot of everybody around you to be able to do that all night long, and we all really put each other in a lot of difficult situations, but it was really fun, even under those circumstances. I felt like that for the first time in a long time, you were able to see just how talented everybody out there was. You know, all the Biffle and all those guys, everybody was really bringing the best out of themselves tonight.
And for Steve, I've had many veteran drivers have said over the years how much they have spent time trying to win the Daytona 500, and then even Dale Jarrett, who was in here earlier. And then once they do that and they accomplish that goal, the first thing they think about is how do they win in the next one. You've already chosen decided to take another career path. I just wondered, is this the optimal way to go out, or do you think you might have some second thoughts?
I mean, it's better than losing. Yeah, I mean, I was telling my wife last night, we were riding to dinner, and we were just talking about stuff, and I said, it's a little sad. I never really put two and two together, or when you think about making that decision, so many things that are so important in my life that drove that decision. And going to dinner last night, I was like, I'm a little sad. This will be my last 500. And I think I'm gonna have a lot of those moments this year. I've done this since I was a 16-year-old kid. I don't really know anything else. It's the joke with my team when you go anywhere is, if you want to know where to eat or how to get around the racetrack, I've grown up at all these tracks. So, everyone has a bucket list, and you don't work in racing without having the Daytona 500 on your bucket list. So, this is it seems a little bit surreal or awkward, but it appears that, a career defining moment came in my last chance at it. So it's, like I said earlier, it's one of those things that, they might say I won X amount of races as a crew chief, but Daytona 500 champion will always be set out of that list. And this one is special. I'm going to enjoy this one for sure.
Let's go to Dustin Long, Brant James, and then Mark Garrow.
Dustin Long, MRN.com. Dale, you talked about trying to remember more of this experience. What you mentioned the driving in the car with the fans. What stood out about that? What was it like being in the car? That's just your moment by yourself. And second question is, obviously, a great moment. You're excited and giddy. When's the last time you've even felt like this?
The last time I won the Daytona 500. It's you win other races and other good things happen to you in life, but this is a unique feeling. It only comes with this particular win. The fans are so supportive. They stick with you. We put them through so much, and we ask so much of them to plug into this sport and to be a part of it. And then you think about that, and then you think on a smaller scale of your personal fans, the fans that pull for your team, and what I've went through as a driver, and what they follow. The lows you go through, they're with you, and they're with you in the highs, obviously. But we went through some pretty bad lows, and they're still there. And I know when I drove down that front straightaway, I know it wasn't, but it seemed like everybody that was here was cheering. And I know we don't have every fan out there, but it was certainly a happy crowd. And I really feed off of that. And that is as key to the moment and enjoying the moment as anything. That's as key to the moment as going to Victory Lane, seeing your crew or seeing Rick and seeing my girlfriend. And, that's all those moments where you see joy in someone else's face during this evening, that seeing all that and all those fans, you feed off of that so much. You'll never forget that just looking up into the grandstands and seeing all those people cheering and so happy. You'll never forget it, and especially when you pull up there to get the flag, and you get right up on them. I mean, they're like they're coming through the fence. It's just incredible, the energy from that side of the racetrack.
Let's go to Brant James, Steve Richards, Bob Pockris.
Brant James from ESPN.com for Junior. How much fun can the next 25 races be, being able to sort of swing for the fences, and how can you use that to build momentum in trying to win a championship?
Well, expect that we're going to have some great race cars and great opportunities to win. And I know that we run our guts out every week. Steve and the guys give it all they got. I give it all I got. We did that last year and didn't win any races. We weren't trying to be consistent. We weren't trying to just gather up points. We want to win so bad because we know how important that is to our fans. We know how important that is to the sport and how big it'd be for, all the effort Rick's put into it. And so we try every week to win, and we'll continue to do that. I don't think we'll do it any different than we've always done it. Steve may be able to get in certain situations at certain tracks and make a different call that he would typically make. And I anticipate that and look forward to that. But for the most part, the tracks and the tire wear and things like that will really dictate the strategy he uses, regardless of the format of the points and the chase and all that. You want to do whatever you can to win the race, and that's dictated by the track and the tires and fuel strategy and what have you. So I don't think our approach is going to change a whole lot, but we got a lot of confidence because of coming off such a strong year, and obviously winning this race, our confidence couldn't be higher. And confidence is a great thing. It's half of the battle. Being confident in what you're doing, and when you have the most, you're in perfect situation to have some good things happen. So hopefully we can seize the moment.
Let's go to Steve Richards, Bob Pockrass, Tom Bowles.
Steve Richards with PRN. My question's for Rick. Rick, you when you rode Jimmy's car into victory lane, you'd say you never would do it again. What possessed you to do it again tonight?
When I got to the car, he said, "Get in," and I was so excited I got in. And when we got to that corner at the gate, I couldn't hold on. Inside the roll bar was slick or something, and I almost fell out. And I was hollering, "Stop!" And so I almost didn't come in here tonight. I mean, I was probably been over to Halifax, but I won't do it anymore. I better not say that. But I think the emotion just got me as soon as I got to the window.
You need to learn how to get them side windows out. That way you can ride in the passenger seat.
Okay. But as soon as I got there, he said, "Get in." And I just didn't even think about it. Climbed in. But I'll think about it again because I almost fell out. I was wedged in with Jimmy. My foot was under the steering wheel, wedged up against his leg. I couldn't fall out. I'd be like riding a bull hanging on. But this time I almost did fall out. So
let's go to Bob Pockrass, Tom Bowles, Stan Creekmore. Go ahead.
Bob Pockrass, Sporting News. Steve, you've kind of touched on it some, but I mean, what do you think it'll be like a year from now when you're not going to be able to defend this?
Oh, I have no idea. I think I'm going to come back and get my car back. Maybe I'll come down here and get it back when they give it to us next year. But I don't know. There's a lot of water to pass under the bridge between now and then. There's still 35 other trophies to get. There's a big one at the end of the year. I'm going to really, really enjoy this victory, but it's kind of like Dale said, winning reminds you how great this sport is and why we all did it and why we're all here. And it's really as simple as that. And it seems odd, but that's really what it comes down to is, we don't play in stick and ball sports. A 500 year doesn't exist in a race team. You don't win half your races. You go and you compete against 42 other people. And every Sunday you line up and nobody cares what you did last week. It's what you're going to do this week. And you kind of have that same sort of feeling. You want to go and win every single week. And that's the one thing, my biggest concern about next year is what is going to fill the competitive void, because it's all I've known since I was a kid. So we'll see. We'll see if my kid's go-kart will fill the void or not. I think he's going to be a tougher boss than this one. So I'm going to have to sharpen up a little bit for then.
Go to Tom Bowles, Stan Creekmore, and end right here with Mike.
Tom Bowles, Athlon Front Stretch. Dale, I wanted to talk about your teammates a little bit because it seemed like down the stretch tonight, especially round 10 to go, even when the lanes forced a separation, you guys had a real clear commitment to work with each other. You, Jeff, and Jimmy. You had Jeff behind you on the final restart. How much of a difference do you think they made down the stretch here, and how much has they kept your confidence up, especially Jimmy being in the same shop after all these second-place finishes to make sure, you get the job done?
Sure. Jeff pushing us on that last restart was key to us winning the race. It was a key moment for us to be able to break away and not get stuck side by side with the outside lane. So we timed that perfectly, and he did a great job. And that was definitely a very, very big moment for the victory there. Our teammates they're all great guys to begin with, but the reason why we all get along so well and tend to want to work with each other and even seek each other out at times on the track at Talladega and Daytona is because of the culture in the company. And you don't feel like there's no favorite, there's no one singled out, no pressure on one guy more than the other. Everybody has the same commitment, from whether it be the fabricators or the engine room. Every team sort of gets the same commitment. It's a very well-run machine, and just the culture in there and how everybody enjoys working together really we feed off of that. And when we work, we see each other quite a bit. Rick has us over there often for quarterly luncheons or what have you, and in and out of the shop. And so we actually spend time around each other and get to know each other. I've known Jimmy since he first started racing in the Nationwide Series at St. Louis when he ran his first race. I've known Jeff forever, back when him and Daddy were partners in several business ventures together. And so we enjoy seeing each other do well and enjoy working together. And the package tonight made you have to depend on people, and you couldn't do things by yourself. You definitely needed people to help pass other people and need help. So you can count on your teammates to give that to you if you can get in the lane with them. And as far as just Jimmy being a good teammate, we won when I was working with Tony Jr. We won at Michigan. It was my first win with Rick. And when Jimmy came into Victory Lane, the first thing I could think of to say to him was, "I'm a winner." And he said, "I know you are." And Jimmy's always been one of my biggest fans ever since even before we were in the same shop, And like I said, I've known him for a very long time. And before he was a champion and when he was just getting started and he was wondering what kind of motorhome to buy. It's been a long road for both of us. And he enjoys seeing me do well, and I feel the same way about him. So we got a great relationship. And it's really great to be in the shop, same shop together. We feed off of their success, and I think they do the same with us. And hopefully we can continue that.
Over here to Stan, and we'll finish with Mike off to the left there.
Stan Creekmore with RPMtonight.com. Dale, if you can go back to that final lap, the appearance was that no matter what Denny Hamlin did, you seemed to know what he was going to do before he did it. And so can you talk a little bit about that last lap? And Rick, did you hold your breath for a minute, or did you just feel confident the whole time the checkered flag was coming?
Well, I think that I knew what had to happen for us to be passed, and I knew what I needed to do to sort of combat that, and I needed to be in front of the cars that were moving to get a draft push from them and keep some separation and not allow them to get a run on me. And whether it was the 2-car or Denny, whoever was going to come with a run, I needed to be in front of them when they got there. and really limit their opportunities around me. And then he came pretty close. He got very close coming off of turn 4. I didn't know if he had enough to get to the quarter panel, but if he even sniffed on the quarter panel, he was gonna get a hell of a run to the flag stand. So it was gonna be tight. So he's very good. Obviously, they ran awesome this week. Won a couple races. Showed their speed and his talent. And I knew when he come up through there that that's what I was expecting. Somebody to get up there and make a move, and he's been able to show that all week that he's had a great race car and knows what to do with it.
Yeah, I was this race. You're never confident. I mean, I thought we were in good shape. Those cautions kept falling, and then we had to have those restarts, and you worry about that. And I thought when he got that good push from Jeff that we were going to be in good shape, but you just don't count this race until you see the car come off fourth corner and that car running second on the outside can't get to him. And it's an unbelievable feeling that I bet if you had a heart monitor, you'd be amazed what your pulse was, in that last couple laps. And I know your knees get weak when it's over, but I've been there so many times down here, coming off of 4 and wad them up, and so it was good to see that thing out front by itself. So it was very nervous.
Final question off to the right here, Mike.
Mike Neff from FrontStretch.com. 2 of them for you, Dale. One's a quick, one's one a little bit bigger. First of all, where's the party tonight?
I'm gonna try to keep myself under control so I'm in good shape tomorrow. But I'm gonna have a few beers and spend time with my girlfriend Amy and whoever else wants to sit around. But and just see where the night goes. But we probably won't be able to party till we get to Vegas after Phoenix. I'm going to Vegas straight from Phoenix on Sunday, so that might be our time to celebrate.
It's 5 hours past my bedtime.
Cool. Second question for you. You mentioned that during the race you put yourself in some situations that you had to in order to win. And I wonder if that's kind of a mindset that you're going into this whole year with, knowing that it's Stevie's last year and knowing that you're starting to get closer to the end of your career than the beginning. Are you at that point where in order to fulfill your dreams of winning a championship, you're going to have to be a little bit more aggressive than you normally like to be?
Well, it's not really about being aggressive. It's just that you get cars that give you so much confidence, and that's what happened at the end of the year last year. We were running second every week and running in the top 10 throughout the chase pretty much. We were getting cars that were completely superior to what I had at the beginning of the season, and hell, what I had at the beginning of the season was pretty good. So you just when you think things are as good as they can get, they get better. That's been the situation with this team since me and Steve got together.